Hello, Vortex. That's right. I support Nick Fuentes. You know who else I support? I support Brian Sharp. I support Uncle Hotep. I technically would consider myself to be a Hotep if I could get my finances in order. But it's kind of a cross between, like, Nick Fuentes and, you know, the sort of, like, anarchistic philosophy that the Hoteps roll with. But I'd like to start my own thing, you know, the Amy Gross alternative. And God is our number one, okay? Like, I just support Nick because I think he's a genius, and I agree with the way that he looks at the world. He's very young, but he knows what he's talking about more times than he doesn't. And if he doesn't know what he's talking about, he can admit it. And, you know, you need that level of humility in order to not only be good at what you do, but, you know, to be effective, and to be, you know, proactive. You have to be able to look at yourself and evaluate what you stand for and, you know, mistakes that you've made in the past and all that. A lot of people can't do that, especially now because of the technology inhibiting them. Inhibiting or prohibiting? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Hindering. I think that would be a better term. The technology is hindering them from being able to assess their own faults. That's why we have... Where is it? Where is it? It's a flip phone! Yay! This is the sound of practicing what you preach because you're paranoid. And you don't trust technology. Nick said he wanted a luddite. Here you go, baby. Here you go. I fucking hate all that shit. It's such a waste of time. I wish that I could just take society and shake it like a damn snow globe. Because people just don't get it. They really don't. That's why we gotta do this shit through TikTok. Because I feel like that's the only way to reach people right now. Because everybody's watching TikTok videos. It's just sad. But... I kind of want to start my own thing, but I really don't know how to do that. Like, how do you start a luddite? Anything, you know? I was talking to some other friends of mine that have a flip phone, and, like, we were just all like, yeah. Let's meet up in the woods whenever we can. You know? Get your knapsacks. Get your knapsacks. Get your road maps. See, we can make fun of ourselves, alright? We're gonna say the same shit that the rest of the world's gonna say, but we'll say it before them, you know? So before you even have the opportunity to call me a paranoid schizophrenic, I'm already gonna throw out that label. I'm not paranoid schizophrenic, I'm disorganized. If you want evidence of that, you can just watch the rest of my channel, okay? See the state of my house, see the state of my car, see the state of my jokes, and my material, my art, my art. Anyway, yeah, I think I'm gonna do some merch for Nick. I don't know if he'll like it. He seems like he would though, because I don't know. He's got decent taste from what I've seen. But like I said, he's humble, so I think that's why he's an asshole too, because like he knows that he's good and he knows why he's good. And I feel the same way, only I'm just not successful. Like, I'm a total failure in the eyes of society because I'm working at a burger joint. And I know that seems kind of lame, But it's like, why is that lame? If I'm working on creative stuff and I'm praying to God and I'm like coming up with all sorts of artistic ideas and material that I can use, and I'm like, you know, meeting cool people along the way and networking and shit, like literally networking, not social networking, but like, say social networking weren't a horrible thing on the internet, but, you know, say we're a real thing that people did, you know, like, hey, do you do this thing that I'm not very good at? Could you do it for me? I'll help you out if you help me out. Quid pro quo. Remember that shit? You know, like, I'm willing to work like that with people. I feel like that's the best way that we can do anything. People need to work together to accomplish a common goal. And I feel like with Nick and with the Hoteps, I fucking love Uncle Hotep. I love Hotep Jesus. I love the fuck out of Sonny Johnson. I think Sonny Johnson is a genius. There are plenty of people that are on the right that hate each other on the internet. But at the banquet in my head, you guys get along really, really well. And you're passing the fucking cornbread and nobody cares about all this stupid bullshit on Twitter and Telegram and Gab and whatever. Y'all need to get over yourselves. It's like people need to stick together, especially now. You know, the left is completely out of control. But this is obvious. You know? It's like the right needs to be out of control as well, but in a controlled way, if that makes any sense. Like, we're way too calculated to be this fucking useless. You know, I just don't understand it. But the reason is because people don't look at it like a leftist would look at it. Okay? Leftist libertarianism makes a lot more sense because that's more agorist anarchy that I'm totally down with. Samuel Edward Konkin III calls this agorism. It's where you check out of the system. I mean, that's what people are going to have to do anyway. Look at what's happening. People are going to have to check out. There's going to be no other option. And we just have to create what we want. It's so funny how people are making fun of that. But that's literally what we have to do. And I think it's a beautiful thing. I think there's an opportunity to create the society that we want to live in rather than just expecting things to change. You know, we have to be the change that we want to see. I know that sounds cheesy, but it's true. That's why most people don't practice what they preach. It's because they don't have it in them. They don't care enough to make the decisions that are necessary in order to inspire. I mean, you have any idea, like, how many people I've inspired by just being a crazy bitch? Like, just not doing what everybody else is doing. Not having a smartphone. Not social networking. Refusing to get a GPS system. And always getting lost. You know, it's like, I'm so stubborn, and I know that. But just letting it all hang out. Refusing to take psychiatric medication. Refusing to, you know, follow the laws. Like, it's like, I used to smoke a lot of pot. And when I smoked pot, it was like, I did that so I could understand myself better. So I could, like, go into my disease and really understand it. And because I was willing to do that, I was willing to do the exact opposite of everything my psychiatrist said, my psychologist, all my teachers, my parents. You know, I did the exact opposite. And that's the thing. That's why I'm a lot smarter than everybody else, because I just don't take people's advice, because people are just stupid. And, like, the advice that they give out is, like, mainstream crap. Now, I'm not saying you should smoke the weed now. That shit's, like, way too strong. It's, like, wacky-ass weed. I mean, it's not weed. It's, like, something else. I don't know. God, I can't believe it's been, like, almost a year. It's so crazy. Anyway. I always end up yakking for a long time. But, yeah, man. I feel like like-minded people really need to work together. I just don't want to go on the internet and, like, live stream and, like, all this shit. I mean, I don't understand this culture. It's bad enough, like, doing what I'm doing, you know? Like, I hate that so much. I just happen to be really good at shooting videos because I'm supposed to be a filmmaker. You know, I always wanted to do a mental illness documentary. And here we are. 5 years later. When did I start? 2017? 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Yeah. That's crazy. We've come a long way, baby. I think, like, one of my first videos from my aimless channel was Crazy Girl Takes a Shit. Crazy Girl brushes her teeth. It's like, I was kind of naive back then, but it's funny now. Like, it's embarrassing, but, you know, that shows personal growth, and it shows that, you know, I was willing to make a fool of myself. I was willing to put stuff out there that was, like, really weird and obscure, and definitely a risk. So if anybody tries to challenge my comedian status, I hate to break it to you, but I am a living comedian. Just because we're not a working comedian does not mean that we don't live this life every second of the day, bitch, okay? Being a living comedian is a lot different, because that means that you make decisions all the time that shock people because they're so fringe, you know, but it's fine to be on the fringe because we have a lot more fun and we don't have a smartphone, okay? So there's no way that we wouldn't be a genius over here. And of course, the modern world and the godless fucktards that live in the modern world are not going to understand that. They're not going to understand the sheer tenacity that it takes to continue to say, fuck the world. I'm going to do me. You know. To quote my favorite rapper of all time, who was gunned down in Vegas in 1996. All right? I was raised in a society. There's no way that you can expect me to be a perfect person. But I'm going to do what I'm going to do. When you said that. There he is. There he is. Looking so beautiful over there. That's right. That's right, baby. We love you. Anyway. This is my garage. I've been sitting here long enough. I need to go inside and feed my cats. Of course I have cats. You know I have cats. And if you want to threaten me by telling me that I'm going to die with my cats, you're damn right I am. Way better than dying with a man. I don't know why the hell anybody would want that. When people say shit like that, it's just kind of proving that, you know, people, they're so brainwashed by the social structure. They think that in order to be validated or to be like a person of substance or something, you have to have like a spouse and children and all that. I mean, I'm not saying that there's something wrong with you if you have that. I mean, that's a beautiful thing. And everybody should be encouraged to have that because that will continue life. That will continue the cycle, the circle, the whatever. But to make it seem like that's for everybody, that's just bullshit. I would kill myself if I had a boyfriend. You know, I just don't understand. I mean, I can't do anybody but myself, and I don't mean that like I just have a free-for-all with myself, you know. But it's like I just don't understand like people that have to have somebody there. I just think that's fucking pathetic. But you know, I'm a cluster A personality type, so we really don't understand like the whole like needing people. You know, that's a cluster B thing. Let's say most people now are in cluster B personality. Like, they're constantly needing validation and, like, confirmation for, like, whatever they think they are and shit. It's like, we don't need that. It's, like, that's what God is for. That's what our life is for. You know, like, our life experience, going through every single day, analyzing the fuck out of shit. You know, that's for us to figure out. That's not for anybody else to confirm or deny, you know? So if anybody is trying to deny that, if anybody's trying to invalidate your experience, fuck them. Like, they don't get to tell you what to do. You live your life as yourself. Nobody else has to live your life. So it's like, I just don't understand. This culture is so fucking fucked. The fact that people are relying on schmuckety schmucks on the interweb to validate their life experience. I mean, you wonder, like, why all this transgender shit's happening. It's like, hello? Like, I don't even know where to start with that. You know, there's just so much. There's so much to unpackage. And it's mainly because, you know, society does not understand mental illness, and if they don't understand their psychological makeup, they will be blindsided by people that do, okay? And unfortunately, Americans just can't wise up to the fact that they can't wisen up. Like I said earlier, they can't wisen up to the fact that everything that they're subjected to in our society is destined to make them as crazy as possible, okay? Like, this is the divided states of mental illness. It's just, like, everywhere you turn is some kind of mental illness. And they look at me like I'm so crazy because I'm aware of that, and I don't want anything to do with the technology that is exacerbating that. I don't want anything to do with politics that is basically setting in stone, like, all of these character flaws that people exhibit on a daily basis. You know, it's like people just want to be the worst possible version of themselves, and they have no idea that this is what they're doing. And it's just, it's so maddening, like, living in this fucking world. But that's why we have the Bible.